Good Sunday morning, y'all. Hope you're having a great day. It's time to get back into the regular Sunday routine and play a big play cash word. I'll do a regular speed scratch on this ticket, and I know you know the vowels were at the beginning or the end, so I'll just mix it up and we'll just scratch wherever. And I got ticket number 29. I picked this up from a Valero store, so let's see if we can find a win on this ticket today. All right, our first letter is going to be E. Very good. A great vowel to start off with, and that means our vowels will be at the beginning of the ticket. You know, Marmalade's staring at me at the window, and that reminds me, a lot of you have asked how we got Marmalade, because we got him almost a year ago this week. And so I think what I'll do, since we've got a crossword and got a lot of time to scratch off, that I think I'll tell his story today. But before I do that, I'm going to put a quick cam on Marmalade. That way you can watch him while I tell his story, because he'll stay here the whole time watching us scratch off this ticket. Hey, Marmalade, there he is. All right, and if you see a little tail wiggle, that's Watson. He's in the windowsill. All right, well, sit back and let me tell you the story, because it's just crazy. Marmalade came with an interesting conundrum, and I'll explain further. So I woke up one Saturday morning a year ago to a rooster crowing in our front yard, and it was unusual because the nearest chicken, or neighbors that had chickens, was about a quarter-mile away. So I thought, that's unusual. That doesn't happen every day. And Watson and Bella were going crazy at the front window, so I knew he had to be nearby. So I went to the front yard, couldn't find him anywhere, couldn't find this rooster anywhere, and we have a lot of bushes that line our front windows, and so I'm looking through the, underneath all the bushes, and underneath one set of bushes I see two chicken feet. I didn't see him, I just see two chicken feet standing there. I went, there's the rooster. And then I thought, you know what, maybe he got injured or fell off a truck or got chased by a dog or coyote and he's injured. And if you're familiar with roosters, they can be very aggressive and they'll fight. So I didn't want to get near a rooster, and if he's hurt, he'd be even more aggressive. So I was kind of leery about getting really close to him. So I thought, I'll get a dog crate and a broom and see if I couldn't coerce him to get into a dog crate. And so I got this dog crate and broom, and I chased him around the front yard. I looked crazy doing it, but Marmalade was having nothing to do with getting that dog crate. But what it did tell me was that he wasn't injured. He was running, flapping his wings, even flying a little bit, so I knew he was perfectly fine. How he ended up in our front yard, no clue. So we asked our neighbors to ask around, and nobody had lost a rooster. And on top of that, nobody has the breed that Marmalade is. He is a Buff Orpington, which is kind of a docile breed. So at least if we're going to get a chicken, it's good to get a nice chicken. And so we let him stay in our front yard until we could figure out what to do with him, or maybe somebody would claim him. And so we left a little water and food out there for him. And of course, my daughter and wife were ready to adopt him immediately. They fell in love with him. And of course, as soon as my daughter named him Marmalade, that was it. So I said, well, if he stays in our front yard for a week, then we'll go ahead and adopt him, and we'll move him to the backyard and set him up a pen. But it was kind of funny because he literally lived on our front porch. So the UPS and FedEx guys would come to the front door. You don't expect to see a rooster there staring at you, especially kind of an aggressive one that will look at you kind of ferociously. So we actually had one UPS driver that refused to come to the front door. He would just drop off package. He dropped off the package at the end of the driveway because he encountered Marmalade one time, and that freaked him out. So I guess as far as a guard dog, he was our guard chicken for a while. It was kind of funny. And so the night before we moved him to our backyard, our daughter noticed he had something sticking out of his neck. Now I thought maybe it was just like a piece of wire or something, or a stick. We didn't know what it was because we still hadn't gotten that close to him, because didn't know quite how to handle a chicken or how to pick him up without getting pecked or scratched. And I didn't realize he was a docile chicken. And so one evening I kind of got close to him, and I tried to pull on this piece of whatever it was coming out of his neck, and realized it was attached. And it was late at night, and I thought, okay, it's bothering him, so we won't mess with it today. We'll look at it tomorrow. And I'm going to show you the pictures I took the following day. So here are the pictures. That's there in our front flower bed. And you see that sticking out of his neck? Well, it was a piece of metal, like a piece of wire or a needle, coming out of his neck. And so we kind of freaked out, but then we realized he was eating and drinking and crowing, so it must not be bothering him too much. But we were concerned about it because that was just not right. And we had a friend who is a vet who actually worked on a poultry farm at Texas A&M, and we sent him some pictures, and he said, well, as long as he's eating and drinking, it doesn't bother him, let's just leave it alone for right now. So that's what we did. So we moved him to the backyard. Great chicken in the backyard, just loved, playing with Marmalade, and he was our new chicken dog. But that wire really bothered us. And one day I was able to start picking him up a lot more as I carried him to bed every evening. And I noticed that wire not only was just outside of his neck, but extended the same distance underneath his neck. And so it was about probably a good 4 to 5 inches long complete. And that really bothered us. So we contacted our other vet, and he said, well, it might do more damage than good because birds don't do good under anesthesia, and you definitely have to put them under anesthesia to take a further look at it. And he says, as long as he's eating and drinking and crowing, just leave it alone. And so we did that, and of course it still bothered us that he had this piece of wire sticking out of his neck. But one day we went out to his pen, and I got him, and I saw blood coming out the other side of his neck, and apparently he had jumped down and it had jabbed that wire from one side out the other side. And what we found out is that it was a dart, because I actually pricked my finger on the other end of it. And so apparently, and it's sad to say, there was a lot of chicken fighting that goes on in Texas. I know chicken fighting goes on across the country, but we have, some people who fight chickens down here, and we thought maybe they did it to make him aggressive, or maybe they didn't like him crowing. I mean, Marmalade does crow 4 or 5 hours every morning, but fortunately our neighbors love him, and they think he's really cool, so that doesn't bother him at all, and we actually like hearing it every morning. But people do some really interesting things trying to get roosters not to crow, but very mean, because it definitely looked like a blow dart or something like that. And we couldn't pull it through. It was still stuck in his neck, so my wife had a great idea to put a little Band-Aid on the end of it, so that way at least we wouldn't prick our fingers when we picked him up, and he wouldn't hit it on something and hurt himself. So she put a little Band-Aid on the end of the needle, and maybe in just that very next day, Marmalade was able to pull the needle out using the end of that Band-Aid. It gave him something to hang on to, and he pulled that needle out, and it's gone. So we treated the sore, the puncture wound, and I put some antibiotic on it and watched it really carefully, and he's perfectly healed now. So we'll never know actually how it occurred, but we're so glad he found this house, because he's a great pet. I never thought I'd have a chicken dog, that I would love it, a rooster, but he is the sweetest pet, and like I said, our neighbors love him, so that's great. And he has the run of the backyard, and he's just an awesome pet. So we've had him almost a year ago to the day, and so that's the story how we got Marmalade and his interesting tale of that dart coming through his neck. But I couldn't think somebody would be so mean that they would do that to a chicken. But we never did find out where he came from. We've looked around here. There's no other Buff Orpingtons around this area, so we don't know if somebody was maybe taking him to a chicken fight, and maybe he fell off the back of a truck, because the odds of a chicken wandering here is very unlikely, because we have lots of coyotes around here. I mean, every evening you'll hear a dozen coyotes howling, across the field, across from our house. So there's no way a chicken could have made it, a long distance. So we think he must have fallen off a truck, or maybe somebody just got tired of him crowing and they just dumped him off in front of our house. I mean, that's how we got Watson. Watson just appeared in front of our house too. So strange animals appearing in our front yard. But that's Marmalade's story. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed that. All right, let's see how we're doing on this ticket, because I think so far we're doing pretty good. What do we got now? Q. There's a Q in Quarry. I don't see anything else. I think I tell you that Marmalade he roosts on the barbecue grill every evening, and every evening my wife or daughter and I take him to bed. It seems ironic that he likes to roost on top of a barbecue grill. It seems kind of ironic that a chicken, grilled chicken, but that's what he does. All right, lots of D's. And a K. That actually might help us out, because we have several K's in that puzzle too. Yeah, look at that. We've got Donkey, and we've got Seek, and we know we definitely have a winning ticket. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to check over this ticket and see if I missed any letters, and then I will come back and give you the results. Alright, I checked it over, and it was a hard way to get there, but I think we got a $20 winner. So back here, we matched I and egg and keys, and that's 3 words for $5. And on puzzle 2, these K's finally came in handy. We have keen, seek, donkey, and off. That is 4 words for $10. And up here, we have boot, pry, and progress for 3 words for $5. Really spread it out on us, but nice little double up on the Big Play Cash Word. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great and lucky rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk to you later.